The NDC leadership is addressing a news conference on matters arising from the just-ended voters' registration exercise. It's been addressed by General Secretary Johnson Asiedu Nkesia. Let's cross over to the NDC's headquarters at Adabraka for the latest.
Home-based TV and Pan-African TV. On social media, I believe we are being streamed live on JoyNews' page on Facebook and GH1 Television's page on Facebook. We are live on the NDC Communication Bureau page on Facebook and YouTube as well. Ladies and gentlemen of the media, not too long ago, the Electoral Commission of Ghana conducted and concluded a mass voter registration exercise. During the exercise, we witnessed the occurrence of several violent incidents and the ethnocentric harassment of certain group of people across the country, key among which being the Banda area. After that, the New Patriotic Party held a press conference and through their General Secretary and other spokespersons of the party peddled blatant falsehood and accused the leadership of the NDC, key among which being our General Secretary, of basing foreigners and being responsible of the violent occurrences we witnessed. The NDC has been gathering evidence on these occurrences to properly inform the nation on what actually transpired and the evil agenda behind those occurrences. And so today, we will be addressing you on these happenings of ethnocentric harassment and violent incidents that marred the just ended mass voter registration exercise, which was conducted and concluded by the G. Mensah-led Electoral Commission. Let me introduce to you our Deputy Minority Chief Whip and NDC Member of Parliament for the Banda constituency, who is here with us this afternoon, Honorable Ahmed Ibrahim. Let's clap for him. Again, we have our Deputy General Secretary in charge of operations, Comrade Boama Otukono. We have a senior comrade of the party, Alhaji Baba Jamal, who is a member of our legal team. Our deputy communications officers are here. And without wasting much time, let me introduce to you the man who will be addressing us on these important national issues. It is none other than the General Secretary and Chief Executive Officer of the NDC, the only general in Ghana's politics, Comrade Johnson Asiedu Nkesia. Thank you.
Pan-African, your mic is too high. I have a presidential height, so. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen of the press. You're welcome to the headquarters of the NDC for this all-important engagement. We are grateful for the importance you attach to our invitations and the alacrity with which you report on our conversations to the nation. You've been invited to discuss a few pertinent issues arising from the just-ended mass voter registration exercise. Ladies and gentlemen of the media, the just-ended voter registration will go down in history as by far the most violent voter registration exercise ever conducted in the Fourth Republic of Ghana. This simple exercise of compiling a voter roll witnessed at least 2 cases of murder, including that of a young teacher at Banda, and another at Nkran Kwanta in the Doma West constituency, all in the Bron region of Ghana. The exercise witnessed several incidences of brutalities, including gunshot injuries, near-fatal attacks on at least 2 sitting members of parliament, Honorable Alhaji Bawa of Ijrasi Chedumase constituency and Honorable Alhaji Collins Dauda of Asutifi South constituency, and physical molestation of innocent citizens in a manner that has never been seen before in Ghana. There were also widespread reports of open display of weapons and open shots of live ammunition by highly placed government officials such as Minister of Special Development, Mavis Hawa Kumsin, and Honorable Joe Dankwa, the Chief Executive of the Middle Belt Development Authority, and the MPP parliamentary candidate for Banda. Ladies and gentlemen of the media, there were also widely reported cases of brutalities on opposition party agents in the Tano South constituency and surrounding areas by MPP vigilantes under the direct instruction of the Deputy Regional Minister of Ahafo Region, Honorable Yeboah Sechere Benjamin. The Central Region was no exception to the MPP's cocktail of violence perpetrated during the registration exercise. In the Jumako Enyan Esiam, amidst several brutalities of innocent citizens and sporadic gunshots, some MPP holdrums were arrested with a pile of weapons. These violent raiding registration exercise coming on the heels of an equally violent by-elections at Ayawaso West Wogon is further testimony of the MPP's government's grand scheme to apply violence and other undemocratic intimidation tactics to rig the elections and perpetuate itself in power against the will of the people. A further confirmation of this grand agenda is contained in an MPP-leaked audio capturing the voice of the Deputy Regional Minister of Bron East Region addressing a session of the MPP Invisible Forces and Delta Forces at a meeting held deep in the night at a secret location immediately before their deployment to cause mayhem in most parts of the country during the registration exercise. In this leaked audio, the Deputy Regional Minister, Honorable Oti Jako, popularly known as Homeboy, was caught giving explicit instructions to the MPP vigilante to, among other things, maim and, if possible, commit murder where necessary, with the promise of state protection and reward instead of prosecution. Ladies and gentlemen, at this juncture, if our IT group is there, I want them to just play some small excerpts of this leaked audio. Now, this is not the wrong audio, please. No. This is a wrong. Again, this is a wrong one. Why? Let's proceed. We will come back to it. Again, on the leaked tape, the minister claimed that the media and all the state institutions such as the Electoral Commission, the judiciary and security agencies are fully behind the MPP in prosecuting this diabolic agenda, and that it has been agreed that immediately any crime is committed by them, the MPP will rush to the press, feigning to be the victims, and accuse the NDC of such crimes. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, at this point, permit me to focus on the specific case of atrocities in the Banda constituency, since the MPP has peddled a plethora of lies and misinformation about my involvement in the Banda incidents as a person. I have therefore decided to dedicate the rest of this presser to address and expose the deliberate concocted lies of the New Patriotic Party in relation to the happenings in Banda before, during, and after the registration exercise. Ladies and gentlemen, you will recall that on 18th April 2020, a group of NPP vigilantes clothed in military uniform and led by one Prince Deborah under the instruction of Honorable Joe Dankwa, the MPP parliamentary candidate of Banda, attacked and burnt homes of fishing communities along the Bui Lake fishing landing site under the guise of a redevelopment program by the Bui Power Authority at the site. The reportage of these incidents caused a national uproar, leading to the intervention of the Volta caucus of the minority in Parliament to visit the crime scene to commiserate with the victims. This visit and the reaction of the Banda youth against the Bui Power Authority led to the suspension of the demolition exercise, the repairing of homes in affected areas, and the rendering of unqualified apology by the Bui Power Authority to the people of Banda. Subsequent to this peaceful settlement, the former Banda constituency organizer of the New Patriotic Party, who is a leading member of the MPP Vigilantes, toured the remaining villages in the company of one Ochame Boachi, who doubles as a member of the MPP Vigilante and the Ochame of Bongase, and threatened the inhabitants, mostly Votarians and other fisher folks, and caused public announcement to be made to warn all non-indigens of Banda to refrain from registering in the upcoming registration exercise, threatening that whoever tried to register did so at the peril of their own lives. The Banda Traditional Council, which over the years has recognized these settler communities and given them representation on the council, summoned the MPP's Alaji Soja to the palace for questioning. During the interrogation, he admitted before a meeting of the whole Banda Traditional Council to have issued the threat, but indicated that he was acting under the instructions of the party, of his party leaders, both in Boron and in Accra, and not in the name of the Banda Traditional Council. At this point, let me share with you the instructions given by Honorable Joe Dankwa, the MPP parliamentary candidate for Banda, to his party followers and his vigilante team on his official WhatsApp platform, dubbed Joe Dankwa 2020 platform. If you have the, what I can say on authority is that I will never sit down and allow some foreign people that we do not know to select an MP for the people of Banda. The people of Banda will vote and select their MP. I'm not ready to go to court again. The right thing will be done at the right time. 2020 is a different year. No more election manipulations. And then the other one, the battle line has been drawn. We are all ready for it. We no go sit down, make foreigners select an MP for us at Banda. We are ready to fight till our last drop of blood. The battle is for or against MPP at Banda. These are the words of the warmongers in Banda. We will, another one, we will hit the ground soonest. Banda will shake him. Asedun Katia had to run away in 204 when we start releasing our salvos. Ahmed will see his real level in politics in Ghana. I'm a real fighter. This is the parliamentary candidate of the New Patriotic Party. And the last one. I have been in Banda for the last 3 days, and Ahmed is restless, running to UTV and the media, allegations upon allegation. But these allegations can't move me. Well, so these were the instructions the MPP parliamentary candidate was giving to his people, and encouraging them to fight. Ladies and gentlemen, 2 weeks to the registration exercise, a combined team of national security personnel, otherwise known as Azugu Boys, were camped at a guest house in Bongase, from where they conducted raids at the settler communities and to fire gunshots to warn them about the MPP's intention to execute the threats issued by Alhaji Soja. After a week, a team of military men from the 3rd Battalion of Infantry Sunyani joined the vigilantes at the same guest house and continued the harassment and intimidation of the fisher folks. So if you hear Minister of Defense saying that soldiers were deployed to go and quell violence and so on, it was a palpable lie. Soldiers were deployed to join vigilantes, party vigilantes, to be threatening and intimidating innocent citizens in this country. At the commencement of the registration exercise, this group escalated their activities around the landing beach site, using gunshots to threaten the fisher folks from approaching their registration centers in Bongase and other places. The District Police Command in Banda dispatched a team to arrest 2 of the main perpetrators. Okay. I'm told that the leaked tape of the Deputy Regional Minister is ready. Let's hear it, because that forms the background of all these discussions. Let's fast forward. Fast forward a little. It's a long tape, so.
Officers are between security personnel, and player for
Papa meaning the president.
no register. Na movie study can over the year. And then you have to manage study pan. Yeah, you can invest in the here. On the one on one, but you can keep on over that. So, not someone now to the summer. Sada unomba ya mama obesrem. Timwa money yan na yido ya ko mo na office bo so yo mo na. Ti be o mo ni ko mo so ko se. Propon ya on va ver que tu es dans l'envoi ya ta. Na office na yo mo na. Tu ya no se te di sa ba mo no mo na. Electoral Roll is not every lot of movements of the year. Now, so one to go also. After that, the opposition would do what Yema would be on the you are not the Yeko, my people here. That's what I am young living by. And most of them on the show being fine. La notion de c'est pas nous qui passait à vous. Elle n'a à se dire si ça ne. Ça dit ça de nous. Il est pas, ça c'est de guerre, nous sommes connus sur vous. Les gars, ça va dire la chose. Un pays n'est pas dit. Ça dit, il y a un Canada nous soit, ça peut dire que le bouquin est grand carrière. Et puis, il fait là, il est fait là. Là, il y a des choses à faire. Il va voir, il y a des choses à faire, il y a au moins à faire mal. On doit faire mal, on va suivre quoi, il y a des tas d'obéissants. Et nous voyons un coup de ligne avec. Nous avons pas pu faire pour le pratique du siècle. Nous pouvons
No, God, let it go on. That is important, please. That's okay. You heard it yourself. A deputy regional minister instructing vigilantes to go and kill, if it is possible, and that they have been assured of protection of state securities. He's claiming that the Supreme Court and the judiciary are on their side, the police are on their side, the Electoral Commission is on their side. This is the country we are living in now, called Ghana, in the 21st century. Let's continue. At the commencement of the registration exercise, this group escalated their activities around the landing beach site, using gunshots to threaten the fisher folks from approaching their registration centers in Bongase and other places. The District Police Command in Banda dispatched a team to arrest the two two of the perpetrators, namely Sia Kasali and Gaddafi, who were detained at the Banda District Police Headquarters and released minutes later, following what the police claimed to be orders from above. They immediately returned to the landing beach and continued the attacks. On the 11th of July, when the registration was still ongoing, a group of vigilante boys under the command of one Mr. Afrani, the younger brother of Joe Dankwa, the MPP parliamentary candidate in the MPP campaign vehicle, were apprehended by the police and searched. Several sophisticated weapons and ammunition were retrieved from the vehicle near a registration center at Banda Nyire. Minutes later, after their arrest, they were set free, also under the guise of orders from above. This then sparked jubilation on the part of MPP at the registration center, with the claim that because they are in power, they could do anything and get away with it, including murder. Ladies and gentlemen, this same group of hoodlums, led by Joe Dankwa himself, in bulletproof jacket, invaded the residence of the NDC MP for Banda, Honorable Ahmed Ibrahim in Banda Hinkro, and attacked his brother, Moro Ibrahim, leaving him with life-threatening head injuries on 13th July 2020. That is the brother of Ahmed. Earlier on, I believe you have the video where the police arrested them and retrieved their weapons. Well, we'll show it later. I have it on my. Seeing that the police were helpless in addressing these violent attacks and are unable to protect the people, the youth of Banda mobilized and burnt down a BMW vehicle being used by the vigilante group in their operations at Banda Ahinkro. The MPP vigilantes, in reaction to this action by the youth, mounted a barrier at Kabrono, a stronghold of the MPP, and started searching all passenger vehicles coming through Banda from Wenchi for inhabitants of Banda Ahinkro. One such passenger vehicle was a freshly trained teacher who was returning from Wenchi upon a visit to his pastor at Wenchi Methodist Diocese. Unaware of the happenings in the district, he was innocently identified and stabbed in cold blood in the full glare of eyewitnesses by a person identified to be one of the boys arrested and released as the instance of the regional police commander in the earlier Banda Nyire incident. Unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, this boy who has been identified by eyewitnesses is walking freely in Banda now as we speak. After the murder incident, the Banda Traditional Council wrote to the Bono Regional Minister and Regional Security Council, as well as the Electoral Commission, to express their disquiet about the deliberate orchestrations of the MPP government to prevent the settler communities, mostly the Votarian fisher folks, from registering. A group that have coexisted with the people of Banda for so many years, have participated in all elections over the years, including my own elections, when I was a minister for an MP for Wenchi West, and have installed an ever chief at the Banda Traditional Council. The regional minister convened a RECSEC meeting and invited the two main political parties to address the issues, and a communique was signed at the end of the meeting, conveying the agreement of all political parties to abide by the rules governing the registration process. Specifically, the communique stated inter alia that 1. Parties should stop physically preventing people from registration and resort to the challenge process if they suspected any registrant to be ineligible. 2. Parties should stop the practice of busing registrants who are non-residents of the constituency to register. 3. Party leaders must communicate widely the contents of the communique to their followers to ensure peace during the rest of the registration period. 4. The police promised to arrest and deal with the perpetrators of the murder and other infractions to demonstrate that nobody was above the law of Ghana. Upon the return of the two candidates to the constituency, whilst Honorable Ahmed organized all his followers, chiefs, and assembly members to brief them on the communique and urge them to abide by the terms of the communique, Mr. Joe Dankwa chose to circulate the following information to his supporters through social media. My attention has been drawn to a letter circulating by the NDC in Banda constituency, claiming that we, the regional minister, Ahmed, and myself had signed an agreement to allow the illegal immigrants or unknown persons to be bussed by the NDC or by anybody to register at Banda. This is not true and can never happen. We were invited by the Bron Regional Security Committee to Sunyani to pledge peace or support, to pledge our support to bringing peace to Banda. Thanks. As expected, the MPP vigilantes embedded in the military detachment continued the intimidation unabated. And if you can't get the picture very well, the military embedded the vigilante in their group, which made it impossible for the district police command to effect arrest. And so earlier on the arrest I spoke about, the police managed to arrest 2 of the people, and instantly they had instructions from Sunyani that those 2 people should be released. They were then released. Then they apprehended other groups of vigilantes in an MPP vehicle. They were arrested, searched, and weapons were found on them. Again, within minutes, there were instructions from Sunyani to release them. And it was one of those who were released carrying the weapons who eventually stabbed the innocent, teacher to death. You have the video? Okay. The video on the retrieval of arms, so they will put it on the screen for you to see what actually has been happening in Banda. Upon receiving all these reports, ladies and gentlemen, I paid a working visit to the Banda constituency as part of my nationwide monitoring tour as the General Secretary of the National Democratic Congress. Upon entering the district, my first point of call was the Banda Traditional Council, where I was handed a copy of their petition to the regional minister and other relevant bodies. They also recounted an encounter by Nana Osiakwaihene of Banda Traditional Area, Nana Bankwade, with military men in front of his house close to a registration center. All this had been shown publicly on television earlier. From the Omaihene's palace, I proceeded to Bongase Palace, where the same stories of intimidation were confirmed. I then decided to engage all the heads of the security agencies deployed in the Banda area. Each of the security agencies flatly denied all the stories of intimidation in the presence of television cameras. I then proceeded to the landing site where the shooting and intimidation had allegedly been taking place. I met a gathering of about 2,000 inhabitants who claimed they have been prevented from accessing the registration centers at Bongasi, Akanyakrom, and Banda Hinkro. I assured them of their rights as citizens of this country who have resided in Banda over 5 years to register and vote. And indeed, after residing at a place for 5 years out of the last 10 years, you are entitled not only to vote, but to contest elections there as a member of parliament. That is the law of this country. I further encouraged them to move to the registration center to register, to enable us to determine between them and the security who was telling the truth and who was lying. After that, we decided to move back to the commander at Akanyakrom to brief him of the information we had gathered, which was contrary to his earlier claims. On our way to Akanyakrom, we received a distress call from one of the Ewe community leaders calling us to come and see for ourselves a roadblock that had been mounted by the soldiers between the landing site and Bongasi. We quickly rushed back to the scene, and lo and behold, we saw Kia trucks, tricycles, and pickups loaded with fisher folks who were being ordered by the military to get down and go back to their villages because they were Togolese. I got down from my vehicle, and in the company of the MP for Banda, accosted the armed military men to find out what was happening. In fact, at that point, I was so angry that I forgot about the threats and dangers posed to my life as a human being at all. Can you imagine facing armed military men when you are unarmed? Well, maybe they believe that I am a general. So when they confirmed that they were under strict, okay, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so I got down from my vehicle in the company of the MP for Banda, accosted the armed military men to find out what was happening. When they confirmed that they were under strict instructions to block the fishermen from having access to the registration centers because they were Togolese, I decided to call the military commander to come and witness what his boys were doing. So in one of the tapes, you saw me talking on phone. I was calling the commander that you told me this morning that you had nothing to do with the registration and that it is not true that you were blocking roads at all. So come and see for yourself one of such roadblocks. That was how you saw me on phone. The final day of the registration, I beg your pardon, the commander upon his arrival appeared very embarrassed but helpless. You could see that professionally he saw that what was happening was wrong, but he appeared to be under some political instruction to do the wrong thing. So he left us and was on phone for about 10 minutes before returning and then agreeing to clear the roadblock, because we were not going to leave until we saw the right things being done. He eventually conceded and ordered the complete removal of the roadblock to allow the vehicles move on, after which I left the constituency. That was my story in Bada. Now, the final day of the registration on 6 August 2020, a Kia truck with an Ivorian registration number plate entered the district with 66 occupants and drove straight to Kabrono Registration Center, Kabrono being the stronghold of MPP. The occupants disembarked and attempted to register. The MP for Banda, Honorable Ahmed, was alerted and he lodged an official complaint to the Ghana Police Service and Immigration Service, wondering how these Ivorians had managed to enter the country when borders were supposed to have been closed because of COVID. The district police commander advised that the NDC agents comply with the law by challenging the Ivorians, but added that they did not have the capacity to impound the foreign vehicle and its occupants. Because the immigration officer told us that he was not armed, but the vigilantes and the army which were protecting these Ivorians to allow them to register are armed, so he couldn't face them, and he couldn't impound the vehicle. 47 of them were identified and challenged by the NDC party agents. And in due course, we will show the challenge, the list. Yeah, these are the challenge forms. You can roll on. These are all challenge. 47 of them, NDC agents challenging the Ivorians. So these are the challenge documents. A number of them. And at the close of day, there was a list of all of them on the Electoral Commission sheet that will also be shown to you. If you care to have a copy, we can print for you to know that it was rather NDC people who were challenging the Ivorians to prevent them from having their names in our register. It was not NDC or Asiedu Nketia or anybody who had gone to Ivory Coast to bring people to register. Okay. Yeah, I'm told one of the videos where the vehicle was arrested with weapons and so on. That is the vehicle number. The guy in tie and die is the junior brother of the MPP parliamentary candidate Joe Dankwa. He was in charge of that vehicle. Here he is.
Second video.
What is it that is one?
That is MP's brother. You see what MPP does in the villages and come to lie to the media.
It's okay.
Okay, let's move on. So when these guys were arrested, within minutes, they were left off the hook, and they went back to the same point where they were arrested, close to the registration center at Nyere, to jubilate, claiming that because MPP is in power, they can do anything, including killing, and nothing will happen. Lo and behold, 3 days later, they killed, and nothing has so far happened. So that is the state of insecurity you and I are living in. Unfortunately, the EC officials, under pressure from the MPP and security commanders present at the scene, decided to disobey their own rules concerning the challenge process and release the completed voter ID card to the persons challenged, making their subsequent appearance at the review committee unnecessary. The registration was happening. The heads of security plus regional police commander was there, and they were intimidating the Electoral Commission officers that even after the eligibility of these Ivorians has been challenged properly by NDC people, they should release their cards to them to go away, because the withholding of the card is the condition that will attract the applicant to appear before the review committee to defend themselves. But if you release the card to them, they have no business coming to face any review committee, and their names will be in the register. So this was what was happening with the active support of the state and government. Now, fearing that they could be attacked by the youth outside the MPP stronghold, because these Ivorians had come and they had registered in MPP stronghold, and they have been given their cards to go back. But because of the public uproar, they feared that if they left during daylight, outside that MPP stronghold, they could be attacked and the cards retrieved from them. So they waited and slept overnight. The vehicle was parked at Kabrono overnight, and the occupants passed the night in Kabrono, the MPP stronghold. These are some of the voter ID cards that were subsequently retrieved from the Ivorians. Abdullahi Watara, male. Kwajo Kwesi, male. You see? Another one. Yeah, don't call male. Voter ID card. And this is the same Kwame Yaudongo. The same person. This is his Kalante. You see?
When they were arrested?
Yes, this was when they were arrested. They were holding, Kofi Kwajo was holding the Ghana card, and then that woman is holding, and then and I'll tell you pretty soon how they were arrested. I'll tell you pretty soon how they were arrested. At dawn of the following day, the vehicle, under the cover of darkness, left with its occupants towards the Ivory Coast. Following a tip-off, the NDC youth in Dobo, an NDC stronghold, which is close to the border with the assistance of their comrades from Sampa, intercepted the foreign registered vehicle by physically blocking the road leading to Côte d'Ivoire. This was what happened. The NDC people mobilized and actually blocked the road because the government says borders have been closed. So they blocked the road, and because of that, the vehicle could not proceed. At this point, the NDC invited the media to the scene and made it impossible for the immigration officials not to act. These are see the Ivorian registration number. And this was the road that was blocked by the NDC people ahead, that the vehicle could not move. The media captured some of the Ivorians with their card identity and the voter ID cards, and they confess having been brought in by one Yao to register and get a payment of 300 Ghana cedis each. Okay, we can continue. That's enough. The tapes are available and the videos are available. Anybody who is interested, we will release them for you. Whilst at it, the MPP, in line with their strategy as captured in the Deputy Minister's audio, and you heard it yourself, that even when they kill, they should rush to the media to do a press conference and project all those sins on NDC. And then the security will act against innocent NDC people as if they have committed the crimes. So, if we thought the Deputy Minister was lying, this is proof of it. Whilst at it, the MPP, in line with their strategy as captured in the Deputy Minister's audio, rushed to the media to allege that the Ivorians have been brought in by my good self. Followed by another press conference by my colleague General Secretary of MPP, John Boadu, confirming the lies that have been told by his regional chairman. You all heard the MPP press conference. This is it. Asiedun Katia facilitated registration of over 60 Ivorians into Ghanaian Electoral Roll, John Boadu. The EC quickly came out to promise to open an investigation into the matter, apparently acting in a wrong belief that Asiedun Katia may have been trapped at last. They promised to investigate and publish their findings whilst punishing anybody involved in the wrongdoing. Ladies and gentlemen, we are still waiting for their report. And I can tell you that nobody has contacted me to give any evidence at any investigation. It tells you that the EC itself knows the truth. And they are quiet because they thought this incident would die a natural death. Ladies and gentlemen, after my initial rebuttals at Joy FM, and I'm sure many of you heard it, it was very heated because I was very pissed off. So I decided to stay put, investing my hopes in the EC to conduct the said thorough investigation, and for the Ghana Police Service and the Immigration Service to do the right thing by dealing with the culprits according to law. After waiting 27 clear days for action on this urgent matter, very little or no action appears to have been taken by way of serving the cause of justice. Rather, what we have witnessed is a desperate attempt to cover up the perpetrators of these heinous crimes. I'm sure you have heard that the district police commander who dared to arrest even before he was ordered to release has since been transferred. The divisional commander has since been transferred. And in line with the Kaswa incident, the regional commander who called Hawa Kumsin for her statement after the gunshot has also been transferred. Ladies and gentlemen, two incidents that have occurred recently leading to my heightened suspicion that whatever crimes that had been committed during the registration exercise countrywide, and in particular Bana, had happened with President Akufo-Addo's complicity. Ladies and gentlemen of the media, it is instructive to note that after the arrest of the Ivorians at Dobo, they were quickly processed for the Sunyani Circuit Court and quickly granted bail at the insistence of the MPP Regional Women's Organizer, Madam Amma Amponsa, and the case was subsequently adjourned indefinitely. So the elections will be held before the case is called. That is Sunyani Circuit Court. And you see Amma Amponsa with her partners in crime. There. There's another video which you can see for yourselves. So, if a case of this nature, which is time-bound, it is about whether some people should be included or excluded from the voters' register. And the judiciary would decide to adjourn the case indefinitely. What does it tell you? Does it confirm or deny the claims made by the regional minister on the tape? Ladies and gentlemen, the second is the president's attempt to embark on a campaign of misinformation to cover up these misdeeds. His Excellency has made several statements to commend the peaceful nature of the registration exercise without mentioning a single act of violence during the exercise, including that perpetrated by his own appointees, which led to the killing of 2 innocent Ghanaians. On his recent tour of the voter region, instead of using the opportunity to apologize for his unwarranted ethnic discrimination against the Votarians, he claimed ignorance of all the bad things enumerated above and stated rather shamelessly that he has no evil agenda against the Votarians. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the 21st century Ghana under President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, the NDC would like to appeal to all peace-loving Ghanaians to join the fight for justice for innocent Silas Wulo Chame, who was brutally murdered by the MPP holdrums, and impress upon the President and the Electoral Commission to walk their talk by reading the new voters register of the 66 Ivorians who were surreptitiously brought in by the MPP parliamentary candidate in Banda to register and punish severely all the perpetrators involved. Let me use this opportunity to invite the international community and to impress upon Nana Akufo-Addo's government and the relevant state institutions mentioned in the leak tape to take immediate steps to abandon any grand agenda of collusion with the MPP to perpetrate violence, intimidation, and injustice on the people of this country, whose only offense is to insist on their right of self-determination and choose the path of peace, justice, and fairness to help sustain our young, fragile democracy, which appears to be under threat from the Akufo-Addo Bawumia government. May the good Lord bless our homeland, Ghana. Thank you. Yo, Abusafo, asem na maka mebo ntofa kakra bi otwi mu de aka no mo amokọ amonko translate. The woman said, "You di kai bo tape e kire mo." Said Deputy Regional Minister for Bono East Region, Honorable Jaku. Yachi na no asem bi a waka no wo radios waka na wakoshia MPP atutrafo anaju da siomu ehye omukutupa se womo yesuma womo ama womo akoba bia ye twetwedin no na womo kwa bibia wombe bia no emra bia anche womo eti se womo duru ba bi na ehia se womo nkum nipa kura womo nkum sa nipa no se ehia se womo twa wonan a womo ntwa bibia ehia se womo ye bia womo nye efri se womo ne Electoral Commission for akwa apam womo ne ye court ai wo man mu akwa apam womo ne police for ne bambofo nyina so akwa